Hello and welcome back to the Orlando Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Russ, and today's episode is the things you didn't know about Universal Studios 1. And I laugh while saying it because it's one of the longest titles I think I've ever done. But I like an ironic title and I quite enjoy this series. So obviously we started this series last month and I got into things that we didn't know about Walt Disney World 1. And I thought it's only fair. It is only fair for me to do a bit of Universal, a bit of Islands of Adventure. And to be honest with you, I can probably do this series for a few months. I can probably flip back and forwards between Disney, Universal, Islands of Adventure, Epic Universe, like all of the above. So I think that we can probably dig a few different little facts out. And as much as anything, it's just a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun because obviously we go to these parks. If anyone's listening, we probably go maybe once a year, maybe once every couple of years, maybe more than once a year. And there's all these times that you would have been in the parks and you probably wouldn't have noticed stuff, or we might all enjoy an Easter egg. And if you see a little Easter egg of something, you might be like, oh, a little nod to something. And Universal do this really well. Universal make a point of doing kind of dropping little Easter eggs in there to kind of pay homage to rides of yesteryear, if you know what I mean. So I suppose without further ado, I might as well just get into the list and get into kind of what these fun facts that I've come up with for this episode are. I'm going to cover studios and Islands of Adventure. So, I mean, there's quite a few, but let's just kind of reel them off. Obviously, you know, I've basically had to research these myself. A lot of these aren't things that maybe I knew, but at the same time, there were a couple that I have seen over the years, and I've seen that, like, you know, people like Tim Tracker or Rick's Flicks or, you know, anyone else have done kind of little videos about fun things in the parks and little Easter eggs and things that you haven't or might not have seen before. So these are kind of all things that I've picked up along the way as well. And the first little fun fact is that the two velociraptors that are actually kind of above the facade of the entrance to the Velocicoaster mean a little bit more than you think. And that might sound a bit weird because it's like, well, it's just two velociraptors, isn't it? It's two kind of statues. Well, the reason why is because they actually have names. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this at all. They are called Pyrock and Blizzrock. Now, to anyone who remembers the legendary ride that was Dueling Dragons, Pyrock and Blizzrock are probably going to mean quite a lot, because it's a nod to the two dragons that once battled in the Dragon Challenge coaster. I mean, that's cool. I love that. And I appreciate they're only just named, you know, they're just named after it. But I think it's cool. I think it's a cool little kind of, again, I'd use the words, pay homage to something that was so brilliant and so epic and so, you know, such a huge part of the history of Islands of Adventure, that obviously they brought this new coaster and they wanted to give a nod to it. And there are other nods to Dueling Dragons as well. And obviously, you know, we get into things like Epic Universe, and they've literally built a dueling coaster again. So they know how much the Dueling Dragons meant to a lot of people and how much it means to all of us for it to be a part of this park. So that was number one. But if we're going into Dragon Challenge Easter eggs, there is one in the queue for Hagrid's. So Pyrock, who represented fire, and Blizzrock, who represented ice, aren't only protecting the entrance to Jurassic World Velocicoaster, which Hagrid's magical creatures motorbike adventure replaced, made its mark on the queue near the entrance of the wall ruins. So basically, there's a wall that says Dueling Club. So it's obviously a bit of like a double meaning, but Dueling Club being obviously, you know, from the Harry Potter books and films, but also Dueling Club. And then there's a picture of Blizzrock and there's a picture of Pyrock as well. So they're trying to just pay, like, you know, they're just trying to kind of like really hammer home that we all, you know, we love this ride and we miss this ride as well. But it's something that we can celebrate. It's something we can celebrate. We can enjoy the memories of that ride. And obviously I've spoke to a lot of you about this ride over the past year. And so many people loved it. So many people loved this ride. It was an exceptional ride. Two coasters, which rode differently. And just to have that dueling element and like proper near misses as well is a real thrill. So anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but it is, you know, I love the fact that they're not forgetting it. That's for sure. So kind of with regards to nodding to rides of years gone by, they've done this as well with Jaws especially. So I'll read the little blurb, but as you turn down the mysterious cobblestone path of Diagon Alley, keep your eyes open for a window filled with shrunken heads. So this is heading down to Nocturne Alley from Diagon Alley. These heads, located in front of Borgin and Burke's, can be silenced with the Mimblewimble spell. But if you can take the time to listen to their music, you can hear some familiar sounds. This tune, Show Me the Way to Go Home, is famous for its feature in Jaws the film with the three leading men. The next time you find yourself lost in Nocturne Alley, listen out for the lyrics. That's cool. I love that. I think that's wicked because that's kind of an iconic scene from the film. Anyone who knows Jaws knows that song. And I think that the fact that they've gone to effort, and they've gone to effort for, you know, having these shrunken heads. And obviously we know the shrunken head from Prisoner of Azkaban, obviously on the night bus, but to have them kind of singing this song, I think is cool. I like that. And obviously, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, this is obviously where Jaws used to be, which feels baffling, but it is where Jaws used to reside back in the day. There is another Jaws reference. So if you check the record shop in London, there's an album labeled Here's to Swimming with Bow-Legged Women by the Quint Trio. This is a nod to the song that Quint sings in Jaws, which is cool. I love it. I love that. I mean, that's wicked. I love things like that, like little Easter eggs, little stuff that they're just nodding. They're just like kind of making a little point. And there is, to be fair, this isn't even on the list, but I'm just thinking there is a couple of nods, and I can't remember them fully, but there's a couple of nods to Beetlejuice and Earthquake and Disaster in the queue line for Fast and Furious as well. So the next time you go on it, because inevitably we're all going on it, I'm pretty sure there's a little figurine of Beetlejuice kind of like on one of the shelves, and then I'm pretty sure that there's kind of I'm remembering this off the top of my head. I haven't looked this up. I'm just winging this off the dome here. I'm pretty sure there's like a fuse box. There might be a couple of fuse boxes, like 2 or 3 of them, and they basically have like Earthquake, like EQ, and then the date or something like that. The date that it opened, the date that it closed, and then the same with Disaster, and maybe the same with Beetlejuice. I'm not sure, but there are a couple of nods in there which I like as well. Again, the fact that they're not forgetting it is mega. So next little one, head over to Despicable Me Minion Mayhem to see one of the best kept secrets of Universal. As you make your way through the queue, keep your eyes peeled for real banana trees planted next to the path. I love that. I never knew this. I haven't gone on the ride a huge amount of times. I've been on it probably 5 or 6 times over the years, but like I never realised. That is cool. I like that. I like that. That's little details, isn't it? Little details that they've gone. Let's stick banana trees in here because why not? Because absolutely why not? Next little one is regards to Seuss Landing. So Seuss Landing, a lot of you might know, might not, is obviously based off the stories of Dr. Seuss or Zeus or Seuss or whatever we want to say it. I don't mind. And in Seuss Landing, you will never find a straight line, because in all of the illustrations that Dr. Seuss used to do, he would never draw straight lines. So they made sure to carry that through to the land and have done that like for like. So there is apparently literally not a straight line anywhere. I mean, I don't know. Look out for it next time you're there. Next time you walk through it, or if you're riding one fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, keep an eye out. Keep your eyes peeled, because you might see, and like if you can find a straight edge, you can tell me I'm wrong, and then I will go and tell my sources that they're wrong. So, yeah, I found that interesting. I found it interesting that, like, again, they stuck to that level of detail, and I know it's a little thing in terms of like what it is, but it's a big thing in terms of the construction of the area. Like, you think that when you've designed that area to basically go, we have to build everything so it isn't straight. So a lot of you know, obviously I told you this in a Q&A episode, my job and my business is I'm a refurbishment company, like refurbishment, renovations and stuff like that. The idea of building and it not being straight is mind-boggling. It really is. So for them to literally design it so nothing lines up and nothing is straight is like, yeah, it's an OCD nightmare, I tell you that much. So next little thing, outside of Doctor Doom, we have to get Doctor Doom in here somewhere, didn't we? But Doctor Doom, on the floor, there's actually kind of like 4 silhouettes of the Fantastic Four, kind of like blitzed into the ground. And I don't know whether or not people have ever seen this. And to be fair, you might only be able to see it from Doctor Doom. You'll be able to see them on the floor, but you might never notice them. But basically, you've got Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, and the Thing. Like their silhouettes are basically like through the floor from where Doctor Doom has defeated them, kind of thing. That's going to be the idea. But while we're in Marvel Superhero Island, there's a really cool Easter egg. So I think this is cool. Like I know that Marvel Superhero Island isn't for everyone. I'm well aware. I'm well aware that like there's quite a lot of people who don't really get it, who don't really understand it, think that it looks a bit tacky, all of the above. I like it. I do like the area. You know, I'm a Marvel fan. I'm an MCU fan through and through. But I enjoy Marvel comics, and that's where it all started. And this is very comic book styling. And when it came to comic book styling, they needed someone to draw all of the kind of comic book illustrations in the actual park. And they're all hand painted, and they are painted. So I've got a name. What's his name? Adam Kubert. So a guy called Adam Kubert actually did all of them. So did all of the artwork for these. And he was basically told that he couldn't sign any of the pictures with his name. Now, for an artist, he obviously took that and went, but I would always sign my work. I would always take credit for it because, you know, I've gone to extensive effort. I'm proud of my work. I'm proud of what I've done. And I want to put it out there that I'm the one who's done it. But he was specifically told you're not allowed to do it. So what he did is he did it anyway, but he did it really slyly. And I love this. I think this is brilliant. So he slyly has written Adam into every picture, right? So I think this is brilliant. So for example, like, I mean, I can tell you all of them, but like, so there's one of Doc Ock next to the Auntie Anne's pretzel shop. And Doc Ock has got his left hand clenched. In the kind of clench of the hand, you can just about make out the word Adam. And it's the same like on Captain America, on Thor, on Storm, on Wolverine, like you name it, they've all got Adam written on them somewhere. So if you ever get a chance, to walk through Marvel Superhero Island and you're just having a chill, you're having an Auntie Anne's or you know, just having a drink or whatever you're doing, have a little look at some of the pictures. And like, because they are brilliant. They really are. Like as comic book accurate pictures, they're fantastic. They are exceptional. But take a minute to just have a little look at them and try and see if you can see the Adam kind of signature. It's cool. I remember hearing this years ago, to be fair. Like obviously, you know, it's been there a long time. But stuff like that I enjoy that a lot. And you know, it's Marvel related, so I'm all over it inevitably. Next little one then. So we've got, you know, there's endless little facts and kind of like hidden stuff, but what have we got next? So this isn't really hidden. This isn't like baffling, but at the same time, I reckon there's some people out there who don't know this. So there are going to be some people who haven't got on the Hogwarts Express because maybe they've just decided, maybe they didn't have a part-to-part ticket for a start. Maybe they went, the queue's too long, I might as well walk. Maybe they went, I'm not really interested in Harry Potter. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so there are people who probably haven't been on the Hogwarts Express. Well, if you board the Hogwarts Express from King's Cross, so if you board the Hogwarts Express from King's Cross at Universal Studios, you can literally walk through the brick wall like in the films. So it's a bit of a mirror trickery situation, I think. It's so clever. And like it's a weird one because I can't really explain it, but if you like stand at one point in the queue, you can basically see platforms 9 and 10, and you can see people walk through the wall. It's really cool. It really is. So if you're a Harry Potter fan and you've never seen this or done it or got someone to take a picture of you doing it or a video or whatever, do it because it's great. Like again, little things like that. I think that's the attention to detail and that's an immersiveness. And I've always put that word with Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. Immersiveness. What they do is they go to detail. They go to detail to the next degree. And I appreciate something like this is like, you know, it is to the next degree, but it is it's true to the films, it's true to the books, and it's one of those kind of like experiences that it never gets old. It doesn't matter how many times you see it, it's still great fun to see. It's still enjoyable. So I love it. You know, I'm all over it. I think it's great fun. I love a bit of Harry Potter, as we know. Outside of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley, there is a phone booth. And I've never done this, to be fair, but you can actually call the Ministry of Magic. So do you remember like how you used to text on your phone when it used to have buttons? Like it was one was ABC, so you have to press them the amount of times. You can do that, like so the numbers equate to the letters essentially, and you can type magic, which is 62442. So if you type that in, then you get through to the Ministry of Magic as you're stood in the phone box. That's cool. I like it. That's again, no details. There you go. Try it. I've never done it. I've seen it happen. I've seen people do it, but that is quite cool. Another little tip, a little fact is the dragon in Diagon Alley. It goes off every 10 minutes. So if you've just missed it, then it always happens every 10 minutes. So, and then I'm pretty sure it lets out a rumble and then it does the fireball. So you know that it's going to do it. It's kind of like, it gives you a prior warning. That rumble is basically like press record. That's kind of what it's telling you. This might not be a huge fact for a lot of people. And a lot of people, you know, this is probably just obvious facts, and obvious is certainly not things you don't know. But for the people who don't know, E.T., so that actually opened with Universal Studios Orlando in 1990 with a slew of groundbreaking rides. Time and technology have changed many, and most rides have evolved over the 30 plus years since the park opened. E.T.'s Adventure is the last OG still standing and is the only original ride that still remains in the park. So, you know, some people might not know that. Some people might not know that that is the only opening day attraction still at Universal Studios, which is mad. And I know that like I've given ET a little bit of stick here and there, but I do love it. I love it for what it is, and it hits a nostalgia for me. But don't be wrong, I like, you know, I'm not going to pretend I'm a massive ET fan because I'm realistically not. But at the same time, like I appreciate the ride. It holds a special place in my heart for memories kind of growing up and all that kind of stuff. And I appreciate that a lot of people enjoy it. So yeah, it's a opening day attraction. This is one thing that I think a lot of people will actually remember. This is regards to ET as well. So let me read the blurb. It starts with smells like home. So the fan favorite ride is loved for many reasons, but one specific reason is the waiting area. While waiting to board the flying bike contraption, fans will need to walk through a forest surrounded by giant redwoods, a light fog, and lush greenery. This forest is pure magic and looks straight from the ET movie set. But the detail isn't just the visuals. The entire area has an unmistakable smell of fresh pine. This scent has been charming ride goers for decades, and it has become so popular that it's even been made into a candle. That doesn't surprise me, to be fair. But one thing I will say, like that smell hits, doesn't it? That's a little bit like going on Pirates, or other smells as well. You know what I mean? You kind of go into a ride and you go, I know that smell. That smell is like, that's nostalgic. I think E.T., I think it's a similar thing with the kind of pine. I will say that I remember the last time going on it, it was absolutely freezing in there. So I'm all for the smell. I'm not for the freezing cold. But at the same time, if it was the middle of August, jumping in the aircon, maybe I'll be really happy about it. We'll find out. What else have we got? We've got another Easter egg with regards to the Dragon Challenge ride. So Dragon Challenge is what replaced Dueling Dragons. In the queue for Hagrid's, there's a room like this. I think they're billing it as the egg room. It's got a lot of eggs, pictures of eggs. I think you'll know it. It kind of like it zigzags up and down the room, but there's like massive eggs kind of like situated here, there, and everywhere. But one of the golden eggs from the Triwizard Tournament, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, is actually in the display case as well, and that was from the queue from Dragon Challenge. So yeah, another little hint on that one. Go and have a little look for that when you get into the egg room. This is one I didn't know, actually. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to read this word for word for what this actual blurb says. After entering Lost Continent from Seuss Landing, turn left at the never-ending, puking, water statue face guy and head towards the park's lagoon. We all know what you're talking about. We all know it. And you'll find a bridge leading to a seating area behind the Mythos restaurant. If you listen carefully, you can hear the echoing screams of a troll that lives in this area. But why a troll? Apparently, because trolls live under bridges. So this area is great for getting away from crowds or enjoying views of the roller coasters across the water. There you go. There's a troll under the bridge. Who knew it? So this is quite cool, actually. This is one that I didn't know this, which is wild. So this is regards to Jurassic River Adventure. So basically, while in the Jurassic Park area, check out the often overlooked model at the entrance of the River Adventure ride. So there's basically this model under like a big glass dome, and I've seen it, but I've never really looked at it. And now I'm looking at it, this is baffling. So not only does it feature some of the locations that we have and have had at Islands of Adventure, like Camp Jurassic, River Adventure itself, but also features attractions that were designed for future expansions but never built. So this is cool. So it basically shows what the land was potentially going to look like, but they never did them. So Jeep Safari was a ride concept that would have gone where Skull Island is. That's so interesting. Helicopters would have been a soaring type simulator located where Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey is. That's mad. So this is mad. That the fact is that basically there was a ride that was going to be a Jeep style ride, which is basically what Kong is. And then you've got this kind of like flying Kukaram technology ride that Harry Potter is, that was going to be a Jurassic Park one. I never knew that. That is absolutely mind blowing. I am all over that. I love it. That's blown my mind a little bit. What else have we got? So I've got two more little facts for you, and you might know them. These are not like these are not going to blow your mind, but I don't know. They might. Does anyone know? I'm saying this like I'm talking to everyone in a room. Does anyone know how fast Velocicoaster goes? I love this, right? So this is a fact. Like, obviously, I have known this. I have said this before in previous episodes, but I just kind of like I looked it up again. It goes 70 miles an hour, right? 70 miles an hour is quick. Okay, so like 70 miles an hour, it does it in 2.4 seconds. Like that is so quick. That is so quick. I love that. Honestly, that is baffling. And I think that I know I've talked about Velocicoaster a lot. I know I shout about it. I know that I say that I think it's the best ride. I think it's my favorite ride, favorite coaster. It is exceptional. It is a top tier ride. It really, really is. So, you know, if anyone hasn't been on it, I'm telling you, like, I know that it's a big thing, and I know that it, you know, it's going to take a lot for some people to go on it, and it's going to take a lot for some people to pluck up the courage to go on this ride. But if you do it, I'm almost certain that you will not regret it. I am almost certain of it, because it is an absolutely unbelievable ride. It is spectacular. It really, really is. And I love it. I think it is just a different level, and I can't wait to go back on it. Like, sooner the better. The sooner I can get on it, the absolute better. It is a special, special ride. And final little fact, things that you might not have known. Again, I've just gone for a little fact to do with actually one of the rides, and I've gone for Hagrid's. So this reaches 50 miles an hour, which again is still quick. For a family coaster, it goes 50 miles an hour, which is fast for a roller coaster. But also, like, for anyone who doesn't know, it has 7 launches. 7 launches. That is wild. Do you know what I mean? So that is basically, it is keeping that speed up constantly. It is constantly going and going and going. What a ride. What a ride. Like, Universal absolutely smashed it with those 2 rides, didn't they? Like, that for me, and I've said this a lot as well, but I think without those 2 rides, I don't know where they'd be. I will be honest, because I love Universal. I've always loved Universal. I used to go to Universal long before those 2 rides, and I loved them. I loved the parks, like, no questions asked. But it's when you lose things like Dragon Challenge, it's when you lose other rides that you then begin to go, yeah, but we're kind of losing stuff to get not as good. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem. And I know there's obviously the Fast and Furious conversation, and then, you know, you've got the conversation of, oh yeah, but everything's just Harry Potter, and like that kind of stuff. But I think those 2 rides I think it was the shot in the arm. It was the shot in the arm that it needed in that park. And I mean, just to briefly touch on Epic Universe, like I have still managed to avoid it. I've still managed to avoid seeing anyone's videos of like walking around the park, pictures of the parks, ride throughs, information about what the rides actually are. I've managed to avoid all of it. So I apologize if I haven't engaged with anyone's content. It's because I am trying to hide from it all. I can't wait. And I just, you know, I cannot see pictures, but I still hear stuff. I still hear murmurs, and I still hear things where people are saying how much they love this park and how much this ride, like the rides in this park, are special. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like, obviously, I'm booked to go in August, so I'm very, very excited to go. And just to experience it for the first time is just going to be absolutely amazing. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. It was a bit of fun. It's just trying to find out like fun little bits of information, because it is that thing. And I think, a little bit like I was saying with like Marvel Superhero Island, I appreciate it's not for everyone, but at the same time, if you're kind of having a bit of a chill in the park and you're not wanting to do loads of rides because maybe you've already done them, or maybe you're having a long day, so you want to just kind of pace yourselves more, there is a lot of stuff to look at. I don't want people to forget that, because Universal go to a huge amount of detail. They really do. They love an Easter egg. Easter egg is kind of like their way of doing it. Disney, there's really fun facts. There was more kind of like different facts, but Universal, I was finding it was a lot more Easter eggs. It was a lot more kind of like, we've hidden stuff, but we want you to find it. We're going to hide it in plain sight kind of thing. So I hope you enjoy these types of episodes, and if you already knew all of these facts, then hopefully I'll try and find some more next time I do another Universal episode. And inevitably, there's going to be little Easter eggs and stuff kind of throughout Epic Universe. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure that they're probably going to have hidden stuff throughout the park. And there's talks of future expansions already. It wouldn't surprise me if in Epic Universe there was kind of like little nods to stuff. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they're really clever. I feel like they think 10 steps ahead, and that's the kind of thing I love. I love just like going that extra mile of detail for something just a bit different. So I hope you're all enjoying the pod. I really do, and it still it blows my mind constantly, the support that the podcast gets. And I love doing this. This is my thing. It absolutely is. This is my favorite thing to do in the entire world. And to be quite honest with you, I cannot wait to just keep doing more episodes and just trying to push the boundaries a little bit more and push the limits of what we can do with the podcast. I always want to try and bring different content, but I also want to try and bring exciting content and mix it up and not just focus on one topic, because I love talking about Universal. I love talking about Disney. I love talking about hotels or like rides or opinions, but I want to do all of it. And that's what this podcast has always been about, because I think Orlando is for everyone. And that's why I always wanted to make this Orlando Adventures, because there are some people on the side of the fence of Disney. There's some people on the side of the fence of Universal. There's some people on the side of the fence of I'm just happy to be there in Orlando. And that's very much where I am. I'm like, I love it all. So I just want to appreciate all of it. And I just want to see it and enjoy it all for what it is and make these amazing memories. So I'm excited to get back out there. I tell you, I did the vlogging episode a couple of weeks ago, but I am itching. I am itching to get back out there and pick that camera up again, because I've got more fun ideas and just trying to like push the envelope kind of thing of, let's do different stuff. Let's try and, keep it a little bit fresh as well. But also I'm going to have different experiences. I'm going to go with different people. I'm going to do different, all of these different things this year with regards to Orlando. And we never know what's going to happen, So keep your eyes peeled. I love a surprise. But obviously I've told you all the details about the August trip. I've told you what's going on with that. It's changed, but I'm going for longer. I'm going longer now, but I'm going with my brother. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a very roller coaster dominant holiday. That is without a doubt. And it'll be cool. It'll be a good vlog series. It'll be different, I think it's probably fair to say, but it'll be it will certainly be exciting. And just, you know, like I said, to get to Epic Universe is going to be something else. So I hope you've all enjoyed this episode. I really do. I've enjoyed looking up little facts about Universal Lines of Adventure. And, you know, if you've ever got topics that you want me to discuss, just send me a DM and give me a shout, because I'm always open. I'm always open for fresh ideas. I'm always open. You know, if you guys want to hear specific topics, like, tell me about it. If you want to hear like topics about Epic Universe, I'll do it. If you want me to do, you know, if you want me to do episodes on other stuff, like, obviously I haven't done a huge amount of episodes on Ambion recently, just because obviously where I've been really busy. But Ambion's not dead and Ambion's not gone. Like, we will have more episodes. There's more coming, but you know, I just want to make sure that there's the right episodes lined up as well. So just want to make sure that they're fun. Anyway, I'm going on. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will speak to you all in the next one.